Hey everybody, this is Lee with Fanatic Comics, and today we're talking Offworlder. Uh, this is a book that's been launched about a year ago by Ben Henderson, Mike Barron, and Jordi Armengol. And there were some issues that took place, and unfortunately, Offworld didn't get finished in its crowdfunding campaign, and so it just got lost in the shuffle with the change at Cautionary Comics, and so now it's back, and they're going to relaunch it through Indiegogo again, and Fanatic Comics is going to help with the publishing. Seems I need to tweak the green screen just a tad because it's not liking my shirt. Oops, there we go. That looks a little better. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and bring in Mike Barron and Jordi Armengol.
Hi, folks.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Fine. How are you?
Just good. I know in Spain, it's, 4 in the afternoon?
Yeah, 4:01 in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before you.
Yes. And so that's partly the reason why we're doing the stream now in the morning is because we'd hate to keep Jordi up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to talk comic books. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over Offworlder with you guys, talk a little bit about, your work and collaboration on this, and get a good feel for what Offworlder is all about. So, Mike, why don't you tell us about the story?
Okay. Seventh century Scotland. Henry Gunn leads his clan in a ferocious battle with Viking invaders. But with victory in sight, he is ripped from space and time by an alien race. The Anunnaki seek a champion to stop another alien race from conquering all known space. Aided by the Egyptian goddess Sarah, Gunn undergoes a hideous transformation, becoming something other than human, able to move through time and space at will, yet unable to save his wife and child. The fate of civilization rests on the shoulders of a troubled demigod. In the tradition of The Stars, My Destination, and The Silver Surfer, Offworlder is a star-spanning science fiction saga that will keep you riveted from first page to last.
Okay. So how did you and Ben get connected on Offworlder?
I think it was through Chuck Dixon. Chuck has been a friend a long time, and I started chatting with Ben. He was a fan of my work, and he wanted to work with me. And Offworlder was a story of his own that he wanted to bring to life. And he just gave me the rudiments of what it was about. And I do what I always do whenever I approach a project. I work up a detailed outline, what I just gave you was the blurb. The blurb comes first. The blurb's purpose is to grab the reader by the throat and make them want to read it. The outline serves the same purpose, although it charts the overall arc of the story. The goal of the outline is to be entertaining in and of itself, and every writer needs to understand this. If you're going to write an outline, write it with an eye towards showing it to other people. So when you say, here, read this, and they read the outline, they want to say, holy shit, now I have to read the story. And that's the goal with everything I do, is to grab the reader by the throat.
Well, I can tell you, I've read the first 38 pages, 39 pages. I love the book. I love the storyline. When I first saw it up on Indiegogo, I was hesitant to order it because at the time, Ravage Kill All Men still hadn't been fulfilled. So I wasn't sure, I didn't know much about Ben. So I wasn't sure if I was going to, get another book. But the more I kept looking at it, the more I kept reading on it, the more I kept going, I'll take that chance. And then just as I was getting ready to pull the trigger, it was gone. So, and I understand that, Ben had some problems, but I really like this storyline. This is one of those stories where, I don't know uh, if it's, I wouldn't call it a God story, but this is one of those stories where you take a character and you strip him bare, and then you bring him up, and those are really powerful and good stories, and I like that about this story.
Well, it's a heroic story. It has elements of Braveheart. It has elements of a lot of other stories. They say there are no new plots in the world, that there are basically 7 plots for all fiction. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is a hero's quest where he risks everything and is brought to the lowest point of his life for what he believes in. And the stakes are enormous. The stakes are the survival of humanity.
And that's the thing. You've brought in, so we have Ben Henderson's story concept where it's the gun family. We've already seen the first one, Ravage Kill All Men. Now we have Offworlder with Henry Gunn, and we have in this story, which has happened throughout history for the Scots, Viking invaders, and he has this personal issue with this one Viking, Hrothgar, and we find out through the story that Hrothgar has some very interesting allies, and also Gunn ends up getting some interesting allies himself, and it's got all the elements. It's got sci-fi fantasy. It's got science fiction. I mean, there's a lot in here.
He brought in the Egyptian princess Sarah, and while I was preparing the story, I read about ancient Egypt, and it begins with a real event, which was the Muslim invasion of Egypt in the 7th century. And we show the lighthouse of Alexandria. It's on the very first page. That's the actual lighthouse. Jordi worked from Recreations. Of course, they had no photography back then, but they had terrific artists who drew it. And it's probably the first representation of the lighthouse of Alexandria in a comic book. Which, I mean, if you're counting, it's no big deal, but we strive for historical accuracy within the context of the story.
Yeah, I've got that image. Let me share with you that page, because I know.
While you're doing that, let me just talk a little bit about story creation. As I say, my goal is always to grab the reader by the throat. And you can do that in any number of ways. Sometimes all you need to do is give them certain story elements. As I say, my first lesson when I teach somebody how to write is, what's your story about? And when somebody asks you, what is your story about, you have to be ready. You can't go on, oh, there's some orcs and there's some trolls. You have to be specific. You have to name your characters, and you have to outline the quest or the arc of the story. Now, there are shortcuts to this. One was Star Trek. There's an apocryphal story that Gene Roddenberry was in the elevator, and they call this the elevator pitch because you don't have much time with a producer. And they said, what's your story about? He said, wagon train in space. That's it, wagon train in space. I have a book I wrote called Helmet Head, Nazi biker zombies. Now, for a certain demographic, that's all you need. Nazi biker zombies, I got to have that. But others require a little more explication, like the blurb that I gave for Offworlder. And I work those up for every story that I do.
Okay. And so, for those of you, that's the first page of Offworlder, and that's the lighthouse for Alexandria. And like I said, that page right there is what really caught my eye with the whole book. I really loved that page. And as a matter of fact, in the video that we made for the ad, we wanted to make sure we used that scene because it was really great. You did a great job on that, Jordi.
Thank you very much.
And I really like your style. I know I've told you that numerous times, but I really do. I've seen a few of your different works, not counting just this, but your work over on Rogues through Amigo Comics. How did that all come about?
Well, I contact directly to El Torres, who is the writer of Rogues, because he's also a writer from Spain, and he's the creator of Rogues. And he is also in charge of Amigo Comics. He's one of the main editors there. And well, I just showed him my work because I wanted, that was some comic books I saw. I've been a fan of Conan for many years. Like a lot of people. Surely most of the people that is watching this video are fans of Conan too. And this one had the feeling of Conan and Red Sonja, but from another point of view that I thought it was very interesting. So I just contacted him and sent him my stuff, and he loved it, and he wanted me to be there writing Rogues. So there I was.
Well, I've looked through that issue of Rogues there, and it's let me see. Let me go back here, and it's let's see. It's
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Rogues. Let's get the cover up here. So if anybody's interested in looking at his, well, I guess we'll just have to scroll back through. Let me go back to the first page. Shadows over Garada. This is issue 1 through Amigo Comics. You can find this on Comixology. I believe I also saw it over a physical copy over on Amazon, but if I'm wrong, you can correct me later. But this right here is one of, I think, is this the 4th or 5th, do you know, series from Rogues?
Yeah, there's been many. Yeah, I think that this is like 36 monthly issue.
Yeah. So there's a long-standing storyline here with Rogues. So if anybody's interested in this book, go check it out, because this is my copy. I bought it over on Comixology and was reading through it, and it's interesting. I've never heard of it until I heard of Jordi, so of course, I had to go look because I was curious. But now that I found even another new book that I might be interested in collecting, I definitely need to look into this further.
Thanks to Jordi, I am now writing a sequence of Rogues.
As I was just going to get to that, was I also understand that you are now going to be doing some work with Rogue as well.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
And so can you tell us a little bit, or, you still have to be hush-hush?
Well, not really. I mean, if you're familiar with the concept, it's pretty funny. The stories are meant to make you laugh, and I'm in touch with El Torres. He sent me a whole bunch of Rogues, and I read one of the big collections. I laughed out loud. El Torres is a very funny writer. I don't know why he needs me, but I'm glad he asked. I turned in the first script, and all I could say is it's a lot of there's slapstick in it, and there's real menace, and there's some amusing creatures and characters that I had to create, and I used characters that already existed. But I was inspired by the title "Drunk Octopus Wants to Fight."
Okay, that's a different one. Drunk Octopus Wants to Fight. Okay, yep. So I have to ask.
Right.
Is there an octopus? So, well, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Is it drunk? Yes, it is.
I've got to see this.
Just tentacles are very usual in this comic book.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, okay. I really don't even know where to go after that one. That's great. So, uh, Jordy, you've
Mhm.
done some work over at Dark Horse, correct? Or was it Image? Cover work?
No,
Or did you do some?
my first work on published in the USA is Rogues,
Oh, okay.
and I'm also working in some horror stuff in Europe. The publisher is Norma Editorial. It's probably no, it's probably not. It's the most important publisher here in Spain. They made their way publishing European comics translations here in Spain, but then they are publishing Dark Horse and Image here in Spain, and also manga stuff and European stuff. They're quite a big publisher, and they just I just contact them, show them also my art, and with El Torres we talk about doing some stuff, some vampire stuff, because I've been always a fan of the original Dracula book from Bram Stoker.
Ah,
So we decided to do some Dracula in Barcelona. Is my city. We thought that it was interesting, and there we are. We still haven't published it, but we are in the middle of the comic book right now.
okay. Okay, so let's go back to Offworlder for a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got a page up here. This is where Gunn is fighting Rathgar. So you get you hook up with Mike, and you two decide you're going to do this together, and you guys are. I totally lost my train of thought there, but I was trying to get to the point where, okay, so you've got this book, and right now the book is sitting at 25. The first chapter is 25 pages,
Yeah.
and that 25 pages is written and drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now the next chapter is 24 pages. Am I correct, Mike? And,
I'd have to check, but that sounds about right.
okay, and it's already written. It has not been drawn. So this book is roughly about half done, except for the coloring. So the book is already ahead of itself as far as going forward with crowdfunding. So, I know a lot of people get worried with crowdfunding because they're afraid either A, it's going to take forever to get done, or B, it's not ever going to get done. But in this case, we've got Mike Barron, who is a professional, and he's been doing comics for over 30 years. And we've got Jordi, who is also a professional in the sense that he's been doing comics, but he also does graphic design work. And so these are two gentlemen who, they're going to get the product made. Jordi is constantly working on this book. He sends me and shows me stuff just to tease the crap out of me and make me go crazy, because he'll show me something and it's like, okay, yeah, and more. But he likes to do that to me. Especially, he knows I get up at 3:00 every morning. So I wake up and there's a message from Jordi, and it's something new to titillate me first thing in the morning before I've had coffee or anything. So, but and Jordi, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
But the book is looking great. I mean, I'm really loving the book, guys. And the feedback from people who've been checking out the book, they've all seemed to have a strong like for the book and want to see it done. I know you, Mike, you've been going and doing novels for the last 20 plus years or so, and I happened to pick up your Florida Man. I'm only about 15 or so pages or 20 pages in, and that book is just, and I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, I'm redneck. All right, y'all can hear my voice, y'all hear my accent. I'm a redneck. All right.
I wrote that book for you.
I bet that book is just redneck slapstick humor. It is hilarious. If you like the humor that you find in the Trailer Park Boys, you're going to like this book because it's reminiscent of that. It's not exactly that, but it's like that. And it's going to get, I can tell it's going to really change. And
Let me just say a few words about that.
Sure.
It's not condescending at all.
No.
In many ways, Gary Dubose, the character of the book, is the most admirable character in the book. And when you read it, you'll understand. He just makes bad decisions, as we all do. But the bad decisions are usually a tipping point to the most outrageous scenarios that I can imagine. And I get them all from Florida. It's got cocaine. It's got bad sex. There are a lot of alligators. There are a lot of invasive species. It's not pornography, but it is rough. It's raw. It says right on the cover. It's vile. But if you want to laugh your ass off, read this book. It's by far my most successful book, and now the publisher has asked for a sequel on which I'm working.
Well, that's great because I tell you, it's slapstick. It's great. It's funny. I love it. I've enjoyed reading it, and I can't wait to finish it. It sucks that I work so many hours that I don't get a chance to. And I know you said it's coming out on audio, correct?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to have to definitely get that so I can listen to it during the day at work. But yeah, because it's probably the only way I'm going to get to finish it this decade. But it's hilarious. So the book is hilarious. Let's see. You've also had another book that came out. That was it your Scorpio book or was it?
Let me mention Scorpio. That's how I met Jordi. We were Facebook friends, and he kindly offered to do a cover for that book. Scorpio is one of my 3 horror novels. It's about a ghost who only appears under a blazing sun. And it's I'm all over the place when it comes to novels. I have a series that's crime, suspense, thriller called the Biker series. And there are 7 of those out. And I was inspired to write by John D. MacDonald and his Travis McGee character. And it's my stab at a Travis McGee type character. So if you like Jack Reacher or Philip Marlowe or characters like that, that's what I'm trying to do there. And I also write horror novels, one of which is Scorpio. I just sent you the cover of the book there. Another is Banshees, and the third is Domain. Banshees is about a satanic rock band that comes back from the dead. Domain is the haunted house story to end all haunted house stories. I always say I don't choose my stories choose me. And I kept reading these Florida Man stories because people love to post them on social media. Florida Man does this. Florida Man defecates on traffic while hanging from light pole. Many stories like the latest is Florida Man loads car with frozen iguanas. They come back to life while he's driving and cause an accident. And I've tried, there are iguanas in the first book and there will be iguanas in the second book. I have a lot of fun with invasive species. And I recently wrote a Western under a pseudonym. Everybody writes under the name A.H. Hart for this series. It's called Killer's Train. And I'm writing another Western now under the pseudonym A.H. Hart. And when I'm done with that, I'll finish Florida Man 2, and then I'll return to the Josh Pratt Biker series.
Okay, that was the one I was thinking of, was the Western you were talking about. Yeah, because, I just don't picture, when you think Mike Barron, I don't think Western, but, that's great. I want to check this one out because I want to see what you do with a Western.
Well, the reviews have been very gratifying.
I was telling Mike I want to draw a Western comic book with him.
Well, that's good. So, guys, let's go back again to do some Off-Worlder stuff and discuss Off-Worlder a little bit. Just to let everybody know, we are having our launch on 2/15/2020. That's just 3 weeks away. We're doing that at 12 o'clock Central Time here in the U.S. We are doing something that I don't think anybody else has tried. I could be wrong, but I have not seen anybody do a launch like this. And what we're doing is we are launching this live at a comic shop and streaming from that comic shop. We will be streaming to the YouTube channel here and to our Facebook channel. And we are going to have a live audience as well, a bunch of comic book geeks. And we're going to have people popping in. There's some folks in our area that are creators who we've reached out to that are interested in doing some possible art for the book, and they might pop in on the stream or just pop into the store and say hi. We would definitely love to have you join us for the live stream.
Well, we'll be there.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, I certainly hope you guys will be there. I'd hate to do that all by myself. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're having a giveaway. And what we're going to do is we're going to be giving away to backers of the book in the live stream. We're going to, if you back the book during the live stream, we're going to use your backer number and we're going to do some giveaways. Jordi has done some sketches for us, so we're going to have those that you'll get. We have over 100 different comic books from the Silver Age to current that we're going to be giving away. Some of these are from my own personal collection that I've just kind of weeded out. Some of this has been donated from B-Town. From my understanding, B-Town Comics is where we're having the launch party at. They're going to be doing some giveaways with books as well. The people in the audience at B-Town, they are going to be being in the contest giveaway as well. So they have an opportunity to get some free books. But oh yes, and we are going to be giving away to people Dogs by Mike Barron. This is one of his books that he's done. We've also are going to be having some retail copies of Ravage Kill All Men to be giving away. So there's a lot that's going to be going on at this launch party. It's going to be 3 hours. I know Mike and Jordi won't be there probably for the whole thing. They'll be bouncing in and out, but we're going to be having a lot of fun, and we're hoping that in that 3 hours, we would like to hit our halfway mark at least. If we can fund halfway through in that first 3 hours, that would be great. I would be overwhelmed, but we're hoping that we can get a lot of positive influence, a lot of positive support from you guys, and hopefully you'll like what we're throwing out there and offering. There's also going to be some special perks. If you were a original Ravage backer, we have a special perk just for you. You'll get, if you've received an email from us that said, you were once an Off-Worlder backer. If you were originally an Off-World backer, you should have gotten an email from us, and in turn, follow that link, and you'll get the special tier. Same thing with Ravage backers. If you were a Ravage backer, we have a special tier just for you guys. And then we also have one other special tier, and that is the early bird tier. Join our newsletter, get on the email list, go to fanaticcomics.com, get on there, and when we launch, you'll see that we have a special link coming to you, and you can then go on the link, and you're going to get a very deep discounted book. Our goal is not to sell these books at such a rate that it makes it insane for you to buy. We're not out here trying to sell you a $50 comic that's only 48 pages. That's not our goal. Our goal is to sell you a book at a comparable price to where we can make enough money to pay for the book and a little extra so that we don't lose our butts. Having said that, Off-Worlder is going to be $18. It's going to be 56 pages. I think there's 49 pages of story. So because of the way the print run works, it's going to be 56 pages. This is our current screen. Off-Worlder is going to be on our metal line. It's for adult content. We hope that once we show you the campaign and you see more of Jordi's spectacular art, that you'll think that this is a good value. Plus, with all the bonuses, perks that we're going to be giving to this series, we're really putting out all the stops on this. We're not trying to go and offer a cheap product. This is a high quality book. It's going to be printed on high quality 10-point paper cover, high gloss, and this is going to be a nice book. We're also going to be doing a special tier just for LCSs, and just so that everybody knows, we have a 30-year veteran in the comic industry, 30-plus year veteran, Mike Barron. We've got a commercial artist, Jordi Armengol, and I have, for the last 30 years, been in fulfillment and logistics. That's what I've done my whole career, pretty much. So I want everybody to understand that Fanatic Comics is going to be shipping this book all at the same time. Every book or every backer is going to see this book ship out on the same day. We've already set up things with the post office. We've got an understanding with them. They're going to come here. They're going to pick the books up, and they're all going out on the same day. So it's not like we're going to see a quarter of it going out one week and a quarter going out the next week. Everything's going out all at the same time. To me, fulfillment is the weakest link when it comes to these indie comics. And we will be shipping these in Gemini mailers. When I sell on eBay, I sell comics on eBay. I've always used Gemini mailers unless it's a huge box. So we're not cutting any corners here. This is all going to be handled in a very professional way. Everything's going to be tracked. We have spreadsheets already set up for who's getting what and how it's all going to work. We're right now working on how we're going to assembly line and put every package together so that we can ship this all out fast. The printer is only an hour and a half away from my home. We're literally going to walk or drive over, hand him the file. We're going to then be able to go in, watch the books be printed, and bring them home. That is going to be something that is exciting and fun all at the same time. I'm looking forward to going over there, and I want to share that with you guys. We're going to see if we can't film the actual printing of the book, and so you guys can see the process and how it's done. I know Doug Tenaple did that on his stream, but we're looking forward to it. And then the printer that we're dealing with, they've been printing since the 50s. So these guys know exactly what they're doing, and they've actually done comics in the past. We're having a special LCS perk, and it's going to be a newsprint book. The actual newsprint, not the recycle stuff that they're doing today. We're actually going to put Off-Worlder on newsprint in its original on the original newsprint style, and sell it in the LCSs. And that book's going to sell in the LCS, I think it's going to sell for $350. I think that's what it.
Whoa!
But don't quote me. Yeah.
I have always preferred comics on newsprint. There's just a magic that happens when you look at a two-dimensional page that's well drawn and well colored and well written, and you enter into a three-dimensional world.
Yes, and newsprint, you really, this high gloss stuff and then the cheap inking that they use today, the ink rubs off on your fingers, and you literally have to wear gloves to look at read a lot of the books today. And what as a fan who's been in comics for for 4 decades. God have mercy. I've been a collector and a fan for 4 decades. And my love for this has waxed and waned over the years, but I've never fell away. I've always had a love for comics, and they always keep me attracted and keep me wanting to read. And I can tell you that I miss newsprint books, and maybe I'm the only one. And if I'm wrong, we'll pay that price. But I don't think we're wrong, because I hear a lot of retailers saying they wish that the big two would go back to newsprint. They really do. And there seems to be a niche market for it, because Alternative's been doing it and doing quite well. I mean, they've gone up 1,800 and some odd % in sales over the last 2 years. So that right there says they're onto the right track.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the LCS will, and just so that everybody knows, the LCS will get the books the same time you do. So when you back or Offworlder, keep wanting to say Ravage, when you back Offworlder, you're going to get your copy, and the LCS will get their copies, the newsprint copies, at the same time. The Ravage or the Offworlder backers are going to get the graphic novel. You guys cannot buy the newsprint edition. You're only going to be able to get the graphic novel. The LCS will be buying only the newsprint edition, but we have a referral plan that if they refer 10 people from their store to purchase, and we have the ability to track this. If they send 10 referrals to us and they buy Offworlder, the graphic novel, we're going to give them 1 graphic novel to sell in their store for every 10. Yes, Laura Vila says that there's nothing like that ink scent, and I have to agree that there's something about comics on newsprint in that smell. There is a smell. I know exactly what you mean. So anyway, having said all of this, as you can tell, we've got a lot of plans going forward with Fanatic Comics. We are happy to be working with Ben Henderson on his concept, and we're enjoying working with Mike and Jordi on this. I can't say enough how excited we are about this. We're a very close-knit family here, and my family has been very supportive of my idea of launching Fanatic Comics. We always thought it was going to be my books we did first, but no, we're going to do Mike. But we're excited. We can't wait, and I can't speak much about going forward, but Ben has expressed interest that if this does well and we can make this take off, that we may have the ability to produce more from Ben Henderson's Gunn Family Saga, which I would love to do that. I think that I loved Ravage. I like this book a great deal. So I would love to see us, work with Ben and do some more stuff. And I would love to work with Mike and Jordi as well on, maybe doing volume 2 of Offworlder.
And 3 and 4.
Yes. Hey, I'm all for series. I love continuity. So if does anybody just going forward now, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask about the series? I know there's a few folks here. If you have any questions or comments you want to make.
Oh, shit.
Somebody needing to go to the bathroom?
No, it was a video on Facebook of a stream.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, and so here's another page from the book that Jordi did for Offworlder. This is Jordi's colors. Jordi's doing the coloring, and this is the lettering that he's done on it as well. as you can tell, it's got the manga style balloons, which I like that, and I like his coloring. It looks good. It's not really doing it justice on the screen, but on this screen, but it looks really much better on just on the file. But yeah, it's StreamYards. It doesn't represent it well, but I do love his work. And the dogs go crazy.
Get out of here! Come on, get out of here!
Dogs and kids, man. I'm surprised my kid's not. What's that?
Sorry. No, I was going to say that I really like doing those balloons because I think that they are more dynamic.
I agree.
Yeah, no,
I liked it.
The same balloons that we have always seen. I think that there is a point of also a part graphic design and illustration there doing those balloons because they are more integrated in the page, I think.
Yeah, and I like the way you handled narration. It looks really good. It's not shocking. It's not like boom. And it detracts from the page. It really looked good. I don't know if and let me just say, when I first saw this page, I was like, it was 3:00 in the morning again. Jordi sending me 3:00 in the morning pages. And so I wake up and I see this page, and this is the Jordi Armengol rendition of the page because we saw it was rendered before by somebody else in color, and this is his version. The first thing I said was, "Wow, that is awesome!" And then Sidekick looked at it and she said, "Do you see the moonbeams? Do you see the moonbeams?" And I was like, "Yes, I can see the moonbeams."
There was something that was the little things that were missing that I found missing in the lost color in the old colors.
Yes.
Because this stuff is what makes better frames, and it was specified in the script. I don't know if the moonbeams, but the moon was behind the curtains in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And that was missing in the old colors. I don't know why. So I decided to do them right here.
Yeah. And the highlights on the statue showing it's gold. And I mean, just that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
And Laura loves the dog.
What was in my mind when I drew it. So
yeah, like I said, it is a beautiful page. Can you bring up the any one of the pages that's got narration on? I think it was back on the original Alexandria page.
Yeah. I sent it to you by Facebook, I think. Yeah.
No, I'm having Sidekick throw that up there for me. She's here in the background. She's always in the background.
Sidekick.
Yes. That was her idea. She's like, I don't want you to call me by my name. I was like, why? And she goes, I'm just a sidekick. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, just call me Sidekick. I'm like, all right, you win. But focus in on that on the lighthouse a little bit. Zoom in on there, please. See, and I like I said, I know a lot of folks. What they do is they'll make the narration box like bright yellow because they want you to be able to easily read the dialogue. And I don't think you tone it down with an earth tone here. I don't think that beige makes it hard to read. I think it looks great. And it blends well with the page. It's not glaring at you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a graphic designer also, so I take a lot of care of when you can read or write some fonts that you put in a page and everything is correct. So I had a lot of experience on there. I've been a graphic designer for 15 years, a professional graphic designer, corporate one. So I think that's something that has to be cared a lot. And one the other thing is that I don't like to put all the text in a big balloon,
Hmm.
because if you put there just like this, one of the reasons is that you have less drawing blocked with the balloon, and the other one is that you can also play with small balloons of text and give you more agility in reading. It's
Hmm.
also like a game of voices, and I like to do that. I think that it's
Okay.
better.
Well, it's definitely got some eye candy going on. I love, like I said, I love your style.
Thank you.
Um, I think that I agree with Mike that there's a Cho influence in your style.
Oh, it can
Um,
be.
yeah, and it's I like it. I really I don't see I don't see a lot of people today drawing this way. They're drawing this kind of manga-ish style,
Yeah,
or they're drawing some sort of uh,
more
odd,
cartoonish.
yeah, or they're drawing some sort of I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but I know there was a Grendel series that Matt Wagner wrote it, but he didn't do the art, and I can't remember what that series was called. But uh, that style just was really like just all a bunch of straight lines, and it drove me crazy because you're like the faces, they're not round, they're just these lines, and it didn't appeal to me. But the story was good. I mean, Matt Wagner can write a good story, but yeah, I just didn't feel for the art. But I love your style. It really pops. It looks great, and you got an eye for detail. I love the throne room for Sarah. There's a lot of detail in that throne room.
Guys, I gotta go.
Yes, I was
Nice
thinking we
meeting.
need to cut this short anyway. We've been at this now for about 47 minutes, and I think that's more than enough. But I appreciate the both of you coming on,
Thank you.
and I look forward
Anytime.
to us. Yeah, great. I look forward to us doing this again at the launch, or if not sooner. But is there anything that you guys want to say before we call it a day?
Heed my grovels, read my novels.
I only want to say
work.
that I would love people to read this book, to buy it is for sure, but I think that they're gonna love this stuff because I see in a lot of comics today that people is like using scenes from movies and from other movies or other comic books like references. But what can I say about Mike's work in this stuff? It's that it's very genuine. It's very fresh and genuine, and I really love the story.
Thank you,
I think
gentlemen.
it's gonna be great for everyone.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. Bye, Mike. He had to go. So I just want to say thanks for coming on, and thank you for being here and listening to us ramble. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this book get done. I believe in my heart that this book's going to get funded. I think we have a quality product, and I think the fans are going to see that when they see the campaign. So, Jordi, you have a spectacular day, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. And thank you, everybody, for stopping in. And this is Lee, Mike Barron, and Jordi Armengol saying, have a good day, be good to one another, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Bye, guys.